Hi everyone, Assalamu alaikum. How are you dears? All are fine? Happy? Steady well? Okay? Otherwise? Steady well all of you? Okay. We completed our 100 dresses part 1, right? 100 dresses part 1. Then which are the things happened in that? Which are the things happened? Drawing competition over. Their teasing of friends. Drawing competition over. How she different from others and everything. Okay. Then who won in that? Yes, Wanda Petronsky won in drawing competition. Okay, then all of you listen. What happened next? Okay, listen. Then we are going to discuss our second part of the 100 dresses. While the class was circling the room, the monitor from the principal's office brought Miss Mason a note. Okay, a note. Note means one note is just like one paper. Miss Mason read it several times and studied it thoughtfully for a while. Then she clapped her hands. Attention class, everyone back to your seat. When the shuffling of feet had stopped and the room was still and quiet, Miss Mason said, I have a letter from Wanda's father that I want to read to you. Okay. Miss Mason stood there a moment and the silence in the room grew tense and expectant. The teacher adjusted her glasses slowly and deliberately. Her manner indicated that what was coming. This letter from Wanda's father was a matter of a great importance. Everybody listened closely as Miss Mason read the brief note. Dear teacher, my Wanda will not come to school anymore. Jake also. Now we move away to a big city. No more holler, Polak. No more ask why funny name. And plenty of funny names in the big city. Yours truly, Jan Petronsky. Okay. A deep silence met the reading of this letter. Miss Mason took off her glass, blew on them and wiped them in her soft white handkerchief. Then she put them on again and looked at the class. When she spoke, her voice was very low. Okay, all of you, listen. Then what in that lecture? Here, Wanda Petronsky, what father trying to convey through this lecture. Then our not come to your school, not come to the school anymore. Jake also. Why? Now we move away a big city. No more holler, Polak. Polish girl, Polak. And no more ask why funny names. A deep silence met the reading of this letter. Miss Mason took off her glasses, blew on them and wiped them on her soft white handkerchief. Then she put them on again and looked at the class. When she spoke, her voice was very low. I'm sure that none of the boys and the girls in this room 13 would purposely and deliberately hurt anyone's feeling because his or her name happened to be a long, unfamiliar one. Okay, I prefer, then she tried to justify something. Okay, to think that what was said in thoughtlessness. I know that all of you feel the way I do, that this is a very unfortunate thing to have happened. Unfortunate and sad both. And I want you all to think about it. The first period was a study period. Maddie tried to prepare her lesson. Then what she said that she just justifying these students without hurting them too. But try to give some more information, more things what they did. The consequences of what they did. The first period was a study period. Maddie tried to prepare her lessons, but she could not put her mind on her work. She had a very sick feeling in the bottom of her stomach. True, she had not enjoyed listening to Piggy ask Wanda how many dresses she had in her closet. But she had said nothing. She had stood by silently, and that was just as bad as what Piggy had done. Okay, that also a bad thing because she is silent but she can't justify herself. Worse, she was a coward. At last Peggy hadn't considered they were being mean, but Maddie had thought they were doing wrong and she could put herself in Wanda's shoes. Goodness, wasn't there anything she could do? If only she could tell Wanda she hadn't meant to hurt her feelings. She turned around and stole a glance at Piggy, but Piggy did not look up. She seemed to be studying hard. Well, whether Piggy felt badly or not, Maddie had to do something. She had to find Wanda Petronsky. Maybe she had not yet moved away. Maybe Piggy would climb the heights with her. And they would tell Wanda she had won the contest. That they thought she was smart and 100 dresses were beautiful. Okay, here is the sum. Then give me talking about that means again saying something herself too about the incident. Then what did Mr. Petronsky letter say? Okay, then our come back. They are just shifted. Is Mason angry with the class? No. Then or she is unhappy and upset? Yes, she is unhappy and upset, and she learns that the students had made fun Wanda. How does Maddie feel after listening to the note from Wanda's father? What she feels? Yes, Maddie and Peggy want then. Listen. Okay, all of you write that answer. How does Maddie feel after listening to the note from Wanda's father? Write down fastly. After listening to the note from Wanda's father, Maddie felt guilty as she had not objected Piggy. What is that? Maddie felt guilty as she had not objected Piggy. As she had not objected Peggy. Full stop. She could not concentrate on her studies. She could not concentrate on her studies. She was considering herself a coward. She was considering herself a coward and the culprit like Peggy. Culprit, C-U-L-P-R-I-T, culprit like Peggy because she had stood by silently. Because she had stood by silently. When Peggy and other girls teased Wanda, asking questions about her dresses. Asking questions about her dresses. Then what does Maddie want to do? She wants to go and apologize She wants to go. Maddie wants to find Wanda Petronsky and tell her that she never meant to hurt her. Right. Then she along with Peggy plans to go Bergen Heights to find Wanda and tell her that she had won the contest. Okay, all of you listen. We can complete our next. All of you listen. When school was dismissed in the afternoon, Peggy said with pretended casualness, Hey, let's go and see if that the kid has left town or not. When school was dismissed the afternoon, Peggy said, who said? Peggy said, with pretended casualness, hey, let's go and see if that kid has left town or not. So Peggy had the same idea. Maddie glowed. Peg was really alright. The two girls hurried out of building up the street towards Boggins Heights, the parts of town that wore such a forbidding air or this kind of a November afternoon, drizzly, damp and dismal. That means very wet and sad. Well, at last, said Peggy gruffly. I never did call her a foreigner or make fun of her name. Underline. I never thought she had the sense to know we were making fun of her anyway. I thought she was too dumb and gay. Look how she can draw. Okay, that is the justification. Said Peggy what she said. I never did call her foreigner or make fun of her name. I never thought she had the sense to know we were making fun of her anyway. I thought she was too dumb and gay. Look how she can draw. Maddie wouldn't say nothing. All she hoped was that they would find Wanda. She wanted to tell her that they were sorry they had picked on her and how wonderful the whole school thought she was and pleased not to move away and everybody would be nice. She and Peggy would fight anybody who was not nice. The two girls hurried on and they hoped to get to the top of the hill before dark. I think that's where the Petronskis live, said Maddie, pointing a little white house. They reached. Then wisp of the old grass stuck on here and there along the pathway like thin kittens. The house and its sparrows' little yard looked shabby but clean. It reminded Maddie of Wanda's one dress, her faded blue cotton dress, shabby but clean. There was not a sign of life about the house. Peggy knocked firmly on the door, but there was no answer. She and Maddie went around to backyard and knocked there. Still there was no answer. There was no doubt about it. The Petronski were gone. How could they ever make amends? How they can sorry by doing something? That means one is show that one is sorry by doing something good. They turned slowly and made their way back down the hill. Well, anyway, said Peggy, she is gone now. And so, what can we do? Besides, when I was asking her about all her dresses, she probably was getting good idea of her drawing. Okay, that's why I am asking about dress. Why? Here Peggy said that she got good idea. How she got good idea? She probably was getting good idea for her drawing and she might not even have won the contest otherwise. That is the justification. Read it again that paragraph. Well, anyway, said Peggy, she has gone now. She has gone now. And so what can we do? Besides, when I was asking her about all her dresses, she probably was getting good ideas for her drawings. She might not even have won the contest otherwise. Maddie turned this idea carefully over her head, for if there were anything in it, she would not have to feel so badly. Okay, but that night she could not get to sleep. She thought about Wanda and her faded blue dresses and little house she had lived in. And she thought of a glowing picture those 100 dresses made and lined up in the class row. At last, Maddie sat up in bed and pressed her forehead tight in her hands and really thought this was the hardest thinking she had ever done. After a long time, she reached an important conclusion. She was never going to stand by and say nothing again. She was never going to stand by. Who stand by? Peggy's, and say nothing again. If she ever heard anybody picking on someone because they were funny looking or because they are strange names, she would speak up And even if it meant losing Peggy's friendship, she had no way of making things right with Wanda. But from now on, she would never make anybody else that unhappy again. Okay, who? Matthew. Then what excuses does Peggy think up for her behavior and why? All of you write speedily. Write speedily. Peggy thinks up. Peggy thinks up excuses and consoles herself. Speed up. Peggy thinks up excuses and consoles herself by saying that at least she did not make fun of her name. At least she did not make fun of her name or called her a foreigner. Full stop. She further said that perhaps her asking questions about Wanda's dresses gave her idea for her drawings, comma, otherwise she might not have even won the contest. Why? Then here two questions in that one. Why? This is because Peggy is not as sensitive, emotional and responsible as Maddie. Then what are the Maddie's thoughts? And they go to Bogin's sides. Want to go and say sorry. Then talking about the whole school, then picked her, and that whole school thought wonderful about her, and she wants to request Wanda to move away to assure her everybody be nice. Want to call again. Why does Wanda house remind Mandy of Wanda blue dress? Then the little white house of Wanda and its spires, little yard looks shabby but clean. And this reminds Margie of Wanda's blue cotton dress that faded shabby but clean. Okay, then which are the thing what does Maddie think hard about, and what important decision does she come to? Then what by saying these all things? Just think about, she thought of glowing picture. First we want to explain about her house. Then the glowing picture of those 100 dresses all lined up in the classroom. Then she comes to the important decision that if she ever hears anybody picking on someone because they are funny looking or because they have strange names, she will speak up. And she is ready to lose Piggy's friendship in such a case. Okay. On Saturday, Maddie spent the afternoon with Piggy. And they were writing a letter to Wanda Petronsky. It was just a friendly letter telling about the contest and telling Wanda she had won. And they told her how pretty her drawings were. And they asked her if she liked where she was living and if she liked her a new teacher. Okay, all of you listen again. On Saturday, Maddie spent the afternoon with Peggy. They were writing a letter to Wanda Petronsky. It was just a friendly letter telling about the contest and telling Wanda she had won. She told her how pretty her drawings were, and they asked her if she liked where she was living and if she liked her new teacher. They changed, okay, and they had meant to say they were sorry, but it ended up with their just writing a friendly letter. The kind of they would have written to any good friend. and the kind of they would have written to any good friend, and they signed it with lots of tens of love. And they mailed letter boggin size, writing please forward on the envelope. Days passed and there was no answer, but the letter did not come back, so maybe Wanda had received it. Perhaps she was so hurt and angry and she was not going to answer. You could not blame her. Then week went by and still Wanda did not answer. And Peggy had begun to forget the whole business, and Maddie put herself to sleep at night making speeches about Wanda, defending her from great crowds of girls who were trying to tease her with how many dresses have you got? And before Wanda would press her lips together in a tight line, the way she did before answering. And Maddie would cry out, stop! Then everybody would feel ashamed and the way she used to feel. Now it was Christmas time and there was a snow on the ground. Christmas bells and small trees decorated the classroom. On the last day of the school before the holidays, and the teacher showed the class a letter and she had received that morning. What is that letter? Whose letter? You remember Wanda Petronsky, the gifted little artist who won the drawing contest? Well, she has written me and I am glad to know where she lives because now I can send her medal. I want to read her to you. The class sat up with a sudden interest and listened carefully, intently. Dear Miss Mason, how are you on room 13? Please tell the girls they keep those 100 dresses because in my new house, a new 100 dresses, new 100 new ones. I have 100 new ones, all lined up in my closet. I would like that girls, Peggy, to have the drawing of green dress with the red trimmings. I would like that girl Peggy to give green dress with the red trimming and her friend Mary to have the blue one for Christmas. I miss that school and my new teacher does not equalize with you. I miss that school and my new teacher doesn't equalize with you. Merry Christmas to you and everybody. Yours truly, Wanda Petronsky. On the way home from school, Maddie and Peggy held their drawings very carefully. All the houses had wreaths and holly in the windows. Outside the grocery store, hundreds of Christmas trees were stacked. And in the window, candy peppermint sticks and the, what is that? Cornucopias of shiny transparent paper were struck because Christmas event. Okay. Struck and the air smelled like a Christmas and left shining everywhere, reflected different colors on the snow. Boy, said Peggy, this shows she really likes us. It shows she got our letter and this is her way to saying that everything all right. They are trying to justify themselves and that's that. I hope so, said Mary sadly. She felt sad because she knew she would never see the little tight-lipped Polish girl again and couldn't ever really make things right between them. She went home and she pinned her drawing over a torn place in a pink flowered wallpaper in the bedroom. The shabby room came alive from the brilliancy of colors. Mary sat down on her bed and looked at the drawing and she had stood by and said nothing. But Wanda had seen nice to her anyway. Tears blurred her eyes and she gazed for a long time at the picture. Then hazily she rubbed her eyes and studied it intently. The colors in the dress were so vivid that she had scarcely noticed the face and head of the drawing. But it looked like her, Maggie. It really looked like her own mouth, and why it really looked like her own self. And Wanda had really drawn this for her. Excitedly, she ran over Peggy's. Peg, she said, let me see your picture. What's the matter? She asked Peggy as they clattered up to her room and where Wanda's drawings were lying face down on the bed. Maddie carefully raised it up. Look, she drew you. That's you, she exclaimed, and he heard and face of this picture did look like Peggy. What did I say? Said Peggy. She must have really liked us anyway. Yes, she must have, agreed Maddie. and she blinked away the tears that came every time she thought of Wanda standing alone in that sunny spot in the schoolyard, looking stolidly over at that group of laughing girls after she had walked off, and after she had said, "Sure, 100 of them all lined up." Okay, then at last they understood. They understood Vanta Petronsky loved a lot to them. Okay, then what do you want to do that? You want to do that oral comprehension check yourself of this. Surely, inshallah, that means today itself. You want to send, you want to submit your notebook today itself to me. Okay, then complete everything. Then read your chapter well and just take thinking about the text also. You want to write that question answers of thinking about the text also today. Okay, read the chapter well, then surely inshallah you will get the chapter. Okay, study well. Thank you.